So today we're going to be taking a look at a story about a Tesla. You know, those nice, luxurious electric cars, one of which I want so goddamn bad but cannot afford. Basically, Elon Musk is a very good way to describe the Tesla car itself. He, is the mastermind behind Tesla and whatnot, so they're pretty nice cars. I really wish that I get to own one day, and maybe I'll save up some money and get one day, but apparently they're too smart for some people. Because we're going to be taking, you'll see once we take a look at this story. Apparently, these cars, which basically dumb down everything to the point that literally a 2-year-old child apparently could pull it off, according to what we're about to read. It's apparently so hard to manage for an adult that we get situations like this. So, we will be taking a look at how a Tesla car, which was apparently driven by a 2-year-old, crashes into his pregnant mother, and this causes a lawsuit. So, I don't really get this, and I know a lot of you probably don't either, but let's go ahead and take a look. A California family has filed a product liability lawsuit against Tesla after a woman was pinned against a garage wall when her 2-year-old son climbed into her parked Model X and accidentally drove it into her on December 27th of 2018. According to the lawsuit, Mallory Harcourt of Santa Barbara was 8 months pregnant at the time of the incident, which resulted in several broken bones and led to the premature delivery of her second child, who was uninjured in the incident. Harcourt, who took ownership of the car on December 23rd, claims that she left her Model X parked in the driveway outside of her garage with its powered, quote, Falcon Wing rear doors open as she and her son went into the home. The boy then ran back to the car, climbed in the front seat, and she went back to get him. Harcourt recalls passing in front of the car when it accelerated toward her with the rear doors still opened, pushed her through the garage door, and held her against the back wall until neighbors arrived and were able to move it away from her. The Model X does not have a start button and is active when the key fob is within range. So, damn, she had this car for 4 days, this nice Model X Tesla. Damn, it was probably a beautiful looking car too, man, just sitting there all nice, 4 days off the lot, right? And then your kid crashes it and almost kills you with it. Jesus. Now, okay, here's my first point that I would love to bring up, okay? And if you think about this one, and if you're an adult and you think this one through beforehand, right? This whole thing really kind of boils itself down. So, I'm assuming that when you went to buy this Tesla, okay, or you shopped for it online or whatever, you should have read all the features that come with the car and realized that, hey, this car starts not by ignition of a push button. You don't put a key and turn it in the ignition, right? Okay, there is none of that. Okay, the car becomes active when you bring the key fob near it. I have a 2-year-old child, okay, who I can't 100% maintain all the time because you can't just put a child on a leash. I get it, yeah, kids, they run off, they do their own thing, I get it, right? I've been around small children before, I know how hard they are to manage. So knowing that, and knowing that your child does just run off and explores by himself and whatnot, you decided that your best option for a car was to buy one where you don't have to put the key in the ignition and turn it. You don't have to reach up and push the ignition start button. You thought it was a great idea to buy a car where you don't even have to be in the car to start it. You just bring the key fob near it and the car is active. That's my number one thing with this. So you read all these features and the lawsuit claims that it has all these safety issues and whatnot, and that it doesn't take the proper steps to prevent accidents. You know all this and you believe all this and you read through all these features and you decide that this is the car you need to purchase. So I think right there, that automatically throws this whole thing out the door. You were negligent in buying a car that you couldn't manage in the first place and a car that wasn't the best decision for you and your family. I would assume simply because it's a Tesla and it's a nice car, you thought that this was what you needed. I get it. People make impulse decisions. You see a nice ass car you can afford, you might buy it. I get it, but you don't go suing people when you fuck up. Well, apparently you do. This is becoming more and more common pretty much every day, it seems. So, in a letter to the family's law firm, Tesla managing counsel Ryan A. McCarthy said that the data retrieved from the car indicates that the driver unbuckled, aka unbuckled the seatbelt, the driver door was opened and closed, The driver, aka the mom, got out of the car. The left rear door was opened, and the driver door was activated by the handle to reopen, aka someone opened the driver's seat door. The brake pedal was then pressed, which set off a function that automatically closes the power driver's door, aka driver door shucks, and allowed the car to be manually shifted into drive as the vehicle issued alerts that the back door was still open. That's the great thing about a Tesla, man, that I love. This is another one of those features that I love. You know, it collects all this data from the car to create these detailed analyses of what happened, okay? Good things to know, say if the car gets burglarized, okay? Someone breaks in the car, they bust through the window, the car's gonna detect, hey, someone's busted through your left side window, this is what they touched in the car, this is where they entered and exited the car, things like that, okay? Good safety feature, and it's also a great feature for situations like this because Tesla has all the evidence that they need to indicate that their car did not malfunction whatsoever. So here's the thing. They're filing a product liability lawsuit against Tesla because, well, she, let's be honest here, couldn't manage her child. She wasn't watching the kid close enough. He ran back. She couldn't catch him in time. He somehow got all this stuff to work, apparently, and ran her over with the car, okay? How is that product liability, okay? He operated the car specifically how the car has always been designed to operate. You just made the wrong decision in buying a car knowing that it can operate that easily. So how are you gonna file a product liability lawsuit when all of the data from the car shows that there was no liability on the product? The product didn't malfunction, the car didn't, you know, they didn't have the key fob 8 miles away, the car started up and drove down and hit her, right? That's not what happened here. Somebody physically got in the car, hit the brakes, had the door shut automatically, shifted the car into drive, and then drove the car forward. Now, the logs show that the car then accelerated for a few seconds in a fashion consistent with the pressure on the pedal, save for a brief override when the brakes were reapplied. The car then registered an impact to the Falcon Wing door, aka that back door that was up, and was finally brought to a stop with the brakes and shifted itself into park when it sensed that both of the pedals had been released for a few seconds as it is designed. AKA, Tesla worked completely fine, functioned exactly how it was supposed to. Parent was negligent in watching her child and got ran over because, number one, she bought a car that she shouldn't have bought knowing that her child runs off and whatnot. 2, buying a car that's so easy apparently to operate. And 3, just simply not being able to watch the kid close enough. I mean, that point just needs to be reaffirmed simply because had she not allowed the kid to run back, this whole situation never would have happened. And like I said, I totally get it. Okay, children are very hard to maintain. You can't just, you know, watch them 100% of the time. It just can't happen. But when your car starts itself with the key fob and range, I think that's the one spot where the parent should be at heightened status to watch the kid a little bit more. The lawsuit argues that the Model X should have additional safety interlocks to prevent the type of scenario, and that the feature that automatically closes the door when the brake pedal is pressed is, quote, illogical and serves to create numerous dangerous situations. I don't understand how that's the case. Creates numerous dangerous situations when you press the brake and it closes all the doors to make sure the car doesn't smash itself up and stuff against anything. This is basically just a big load of bullshit. I mean, let's be honest here. Tesla wouldn't comment directly on the lawsuit to Fox News Autos, but claims that it has never discovered a technical malfunction in any of its internal investigations of, quote, unexpected acceleration reports. Okay, so Tesla has all this data, okay? They have all this evidence, but yet this family has basically no evidence and is basing their lawsuit on some hopeful scenario. Who do you think's gonna win this one? I mean, Tesla literally has the data to show every single step of what happened and how the car operated how exactly it's supposed to. I don't understand how this family thinks they're going to even win. Now, one scenario that I did see that they could be doing, and it makes sense because it happens a lot, there's no way that this family and this legal team ever expects for them to win this case. This is quite literally almost an unwinnable case, okay? I don't see any judge ever stepping in and being like, you know what, fuck you, Tesla, you screwed up. It's the parent who was hurt by your messed up car, you bad, lose lawsuit, right? I don't see that going down. What this family is basically trying to do is settle out of court, okay? Tesla doesn't want to deal with this stupid lawsuit. They know that they're probably going to win, but they still have the chance to lose. It'll probably eventually be cheaper to do something called settling out of court, where Tesla basically just pays the family to back the fuck off and, you know, drop the lawsuit and stuff. Usually it's the terms that they would be sued for or whatnot, but that's probably what's going down. And honestly, this family has a pretty good shot of getting the money from Tesla, I'd say, simply because I don't think Tesla wants to go to court and even risk this and spend a bunch of money over a case that they should win regardless. Now, I want to bring a conspiracy theory up, okay? I know how large a 2-year-old child is. Almost never have I ever seen a 2-year-old child who could not only operate the steering wheel on a car, but press the brake and gas pedals. People who are like 4'6" can barely drive a car, let alone a 2-year-old child, okay, who's what, 2.5, 3 feet tall? And the thing is I believe that Tesla, okay? I believe the car that has all of these sensors and all of this data capability, you know, from this major company that actually, like, saves and logs all this data from these cars. I believe that data, okay? I don't believe this family, simply because you're telling me a 2-year-old child got in the car, okay, not only opened the door to the Tesla manually, got up in the car, okay, sat there and pressed the brake, then shifted the car into drive manually, okay? The data said it was manually shifted, okay? I don't believe a 2-year-old child manually shifted that, then accelerated the car with the accelerating pedal, then apparently reapplied the brakes, or the car automatically reapplied the brakes, and then drove forward again. You're telling me a 2-year-old child did all this? How in the world is that even possible? That doesn't even make sense. Now, I don't mean to indicate that they've lied, and of course, there was a big conspiracy as in, like, she drove the car into herself or something, right? That doesn't make any more logical sense than, you know, the kid doing it. However, something here just simply doesn't add up. There's something here that does not make any sense whatsoever about this story. Either they're hiding some details about what's happened, they're hiding something that shows that they're liable for this, which, I mean, as if it isn't clear as goddamn day. There's something up here, because that just simply doesn't make sense. Like, if you logically process that, can you imagine a 2-year-old child doing this? With all of this data showing what happened, can you imagine a 2-year-old child pulling this one off? What is your kid, Einstein? You know, what's going on here? What is your kid, Giannis Antetokounmpo? Just like freakishly long arms and stuff? Like, come on now. It just doesn't make that much sense. Okay, so it's an unwinnable lawsuit. But on top of that, like, it's very obvious that personal accountability is out the window in this one. Like, hey, yeah, I could have watched my kid a little bit better. Hey, maybe I should have bought a car that my kid can't just activate and drive. Hey, maybe I shouldn't have literally walked in front of the car when it was apparently on and whatnot. You know, all these factors of self-accountability that if were taking place, this whole incident either would have never happened or would have went completely differently. You know, if all those are thrown out the window now, because it's never anyone's fault that they mess up. It's obviously not the parents' fault that she didn't watch her kid close enough. It's obviously not the parents' fault that she bought a car that her child can operate at 2 years old. Nothing is ever anyone's fault anymore. We never take any self-accountability. It's almost like the American culture is like, hey, you know, I mess up, I sue somebody else. You know what's funny? I was mowing the grass the other day, right? I got me a nice mower, okay? And I was mowing my grass. Let's say I stick my foot under there to make sure the blade's on, right? Make sure the blade on my mower is running properly and efficiently, and my foot gets chopped to shit, okay? My foot basically gets turned into a pile of chicken nuggets. Chopped chunks of my foot just laying everywhere. Guess what? I'm gonna go sue, what, Black & Decker? You know, Husqvarna? Because, you know, they should have had a guard on there that made sure I didn't stick my foot in my mower. Not necessarily the same situation, but I think that a very good lesson can be learned from both. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here. Follow me over on Twitter at @SubToptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. Surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below. Lots of great things going on down there. Thank you to my channel members for your $5 a month. Your support helps my channel tremendously. If you'd like to become a channel member and help support my content for only $5 a month, you can do so by hitting the join button down below or the become a channel member link in the description. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, hopping in his car, crashing it, and blaming the car company, and signing out.